Well, let me tell you how I keep messing around with this filter. I'm sorry. Let me tell you how excited I am because I haven't talked to Nancy in I don't know how long, but here's a little thing. We went to high school together, so that's how I know her. She is a fellow sis. You want to tell them where we went to high school at? Should
Um,
we tell them? We
I
don't
mean,
have to, but
it's a
it's up to
reputable,
you.
it's still a reputable school. We went to Girls High.
I meet so many people nowadays that's like, wait, you a girl's high girl? I'm like, oh, that's like it's really a thing. It's a real sisterhood,
Hmm.
y'all. But y'all already know. I keep pressing the filter. I'm sorry. Y'all already know that sisterhood goes far with me anyway because that's what my whole brand is about.
Hmm.
But anyway, besides that, and before we get into her introduction, this is a mukbang meeting, so let me know what you have to eat, Nance.
Um, so I have fruit.
Okay,
Eat like my
all
maximum
right.
cakes and snacks for the day. So I have fruit, and I have a glass of wine, and I have water.
Oh, see, listen, let me tell you how I just skipped my whole drink, but it's okay. It's all right. Now, I have shumai. I
Hmm.
have like some steamed and some fried, which
Hmm.
I'm so excited about because I went to my favorite place to get it. I don't know if you ever been to Soho. You ever been to Soho?
Um,
It's
I
in
don't think
Cheltenham.
so. No, no, no.
They had
What I'm
two
thinking about is the one that's
locations.
downtown.
Okay, so no, I don't
So
think they
that's
had a
not it.
location downtown.
That's not
No,
it. The
but Soho is so good. It's like a Korean spot. So, and I love everything on their menu. So I'm so excited. Like I'm gonna be listening and talking, but like this right here.
eating.
hmm But yeah, so I already talked about me. So can you just introduce yourself and just let them know what you do, what you got going
I'm Nancy, so I do a lot.
on?
So I own a head wrap company, which I'm in the process right now of turning it into more of a space for brown people, to learn more about their culture, to give them some lifestyle tips and some luxury tips. So if you go to my page right now, it's blank. It's like one post up. Um, I also own a photography studio that I'm in the process of actually now transforming into a photography studio. And I'm also a life coach, and I'm a mother, I'm a student, and I still work.
I love it
So,
all. I love it all. It's so
yeah.
real. And that's one thing that I like to hear when you like, I do many things. It's like, I like when people own it. Because I talk to so many people about their businesses and their brands, and they're like, I know my ideas and I'm just all over the place because they're so used to people that are small minded. And
Hmm.
I say that strongly that tell them that they're all over the place and they got to just pick one thing. And I don't like that
Hmm.
because we aren't just a single person. You know, we do
Hmm.
many things, we have many talents. So I think there's room for all of it. You got to make room for it. But
Yes,
yeah, I
it's
love that.
definitely a balancing act. It's definitely a balancing act. But yeah, like you
Mm,
said, we are multifaceted people. So we're never just the mom or the student or the coach or whatever. You're so many different people,
right.
and you can tap into all those different people.
You definitely can. And you got to stay away from the people who tell you that you can't. So,
Gotcha.
so I have an icebreaker question.
Oh
Um,
God.
it, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
It's really into your hair wrap business.
Hmm.
Um, have you ever heard of the Crown Act?
Um, yes. It just got passed
So
in LA, right?
yes. So if y'all don't know what the Crown Act is, it's something that was put in place for us brown girls to feel comfortable in like professional spaces and just in spaces in general where we don't have to feel like we have to go to interviews and straighten our hair or wear our
Hmm.
hair in certain ways because that's one thing that I know I've dealt with personally and I feel like a lot
Hmm.
of us have. But I just it just makes me think about your company where I'm like, I can't wait until the day that I can wear a head wrap to work because like, yeah, we have there's like a bad what do you call it,
Stigma.
stigma or a reputation
Hmm.
about people wearing anything on their head, bonnets,
Hmm.
scarves, whatever. But
Hmm.
like there are other ways that people wear it. You know, it's
Hmm.
not just when we're going to bed and we're going to sleep.
Hmm.
So I wish that we had some pictures to show of your head wraps. But if y'all go to her page, y'all will see some stuff. I really wish I could wear that to work, like every day, because
Um,
it will keep your hair protected. Like it's another way to kind of like up your outfit,
yes,
everything.
I have a
So,
story
like,
about
what do you
that.
feel about that?
Um, so I'm the type of person where I'm a rule breaker. I'm gonna do what I want to do. So
Okay,
I'm going
I
to wear
love
my
it.
hair wraps. I'm going to wear my braids. If I want to dye my hair, I'm going to do it. If I want to wear 2 braids, I'm going to do it. Whatever I feel like I'm going to do to my hair, that's what I'm going to do, because my hair doesn't define who I am. It doesn't affect my position. It's not going to come in between my work ethic. So I just feel like any employer who's like had these strict laws on your hair, I'm not working for them. I actually have a story about that. I was employed with another daycare. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually a child care director. And before I was a director, I was an assistant director at another facility. And I wore a head wrap to work one day. The main director, or the lead director, whatever you want to call her, she was French. So she was very cultured, even though she was like European French. She was very cultured in many different aspects of African Americans and Asians and Hispanics. So she was cultured, so she knew what it was. But our owner, who was African American, like she had just happened to come in that day. But I remember walking in, and I remember the director saying, "Oh my God!" And I was just like, "What?" She was like, "It's coming." Oh, I didn't mean the name drop. She was like, "XYZ is coming today," and I was like, "Okay." She's like, on. I'm like, okay. And I like continued to go through work throughout the day. And I remember like another employee saying, she don't like scarves. And I was like, excuse me, do you know how much time it takes me to make a hair wrap? Do you know I have to go to the store and get out the perfect fabric that I want for my hair wrap? I'm wearing this. And if I have to leave today, I will. So she finally comes in. She's like, what's that? Like, just like that, like, so hood and ghetto. What's that? And I'm like, oh, it's a hair wrap. Oh, what, you African or something? So I gave her a whole history lesson on hair wraps. I ended up quitting like 2 months later. She let me keep it on, but I ended up quitting like 2 months later for other reasons. But I just feel like black and brown people in general need to feel comfortable about showing who they are. Like, this is a part of our culture. Like, I wear hoop earrings. Like, like some most jobs, oh, it's gonna be a quarter size or a dime size. Like, I wear hoops. What you gonna do? Fire me? Like, I'm just finding another job. So
I love
like,
that. I love that. And that's one thing that we I was saying, like, I was having a conversation the other day, and that's one thing we talked about. It was about like marginalized groups and like how to not add to that. Like, we want to try to even out the playing field as best as we can and just give a space for everybody and their different cultures and their different types of personalities, just everything. And one thing that they were saying was a way to do it for yourself and your own culture, your own group, is not to basically conform to those things. And when you stand up for yourself or you have something to say about it that's not, in relationship with how they already feel, you got to be willing to take on whatever the consequence or backlash may be. Like, so you was like, what they gonna do, send me home? Like, if they were
yeah.
going to send you home, you would have been with it. Like, okay.
If you were going to send me home, you would have had a lawsuit. If you were going to fire me for a hair wrap, there would have been a lawsuit, because I was the assistant director, so I knew the laws and all the rules and the bylaws, and nothing like that was in the bylaws. So you just had a lawsuit. So another thing to that is to just knowing the rules. Like, if there's nothing in their rule handbook, to be more specific, that doesn't ban specific hairstyles or earrings or clothing, then it's like, what you want to do? Now, it's the difference if you know what you signed up for and you still say, oh, I'm going to just wear my stuff because that's what I'm going to do. But if you know that's in the handbook, that's something that should be discussed when accepting a job. Like, this is how I dress. I like to wear head wraps. I like to wear braids. I like to wear my natural hair. I like to wear certain size earrings. I like to wear certain type of clothes, shoes, whatever it is. It should be discussed ahead of time prior to even accepting the job. Even with braids, like I have someone right now saying that they're like apprehensive to get their hair braided. Get the braids, girl. Get the
Wait
braids.
a minute. My comments were stuck. I didn't even see these things popping up. Hey, y'all. Say hi to everybody. That's all. Just saying hi to everybody. But no, that's an awesome story. And that's something I feel like we all should just be inspired by and just continue to push forth, because the Crown Act is a thing. And next is going to be a hair wrap at something. Hopefully Nancy will start it and put it
the
out
whole
there.
thing about our hair is just another way to oppress us. You can keep them out of these positions because if they got to cut their hair off. Like, I just seen somebody post on Instagram, one of my followers, like, I'm tired of cutting my beard off. I'm just like, why are you cutting your beard off for a job? Like, Like, I'm
Yeah.
just confused by it. But I'm just like, some people have to do that. Some people are in a position where they have to take the job and they have to just adhere to the rules. But I think if you are going to take the job and that's the case, I think you should open some dialogue about like changing some of the rules.
Right, right. That's important. So, yeah, that was a strong start. But yeah, back to you just being an entrepreneur in many ways. What
Mm-hmm.
what is your thoughts? How do you feel about being intentional as an entrepreneur? Intentional, like that's a strong word for me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important to me because um it's so funny. I don't like talking about this like that, but like you know how our high school motto was wink it,
Mm-hmm.
keep say wink it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my whole thing and my translation of it was um she who has self-control can control all, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically like I value self-control and not
Mm-hmm.
letting this world or just circumstances take control of me and determine where I go in life.
Mm-hmm.
So being intentional is my thing of like getting a hold of like what we're doing in our lives, like as far as
Mm-hmm.
our personal life, entrepreneurship, at school, at work, like just being intentional about the things that you're doing, not just reacting, just being reactive. So how do you feel about being intentional as an entrepreneur, or like what does that spark in your mind when you hear that?
For me, being intentional is just aligning yourself with your morals. Um, so for me, I'm a very like I move off of morals and principles. So that's something that your parents instill in you, the world instills in you, because you learn from your parents, but you also learn more morals and principles through life experiences, right? So because we are ever changing, your intentions also change. But in it all, you just have to stay true to yourself. So today you say, okay, I want to wear a hat rack, but you never wore a hat rack before. But you say this is what you want to start doing, or anything. I want to start exercising more. Just be more intentional to it and stick to it. And if you say tomorrow, okay, I'm done with that. I don't want to work out anymore. That's fine. That's fine. So it's just like it's whoever you are in that moment. Stay true to that, and align yourself with people and things that are going to help you along the way to help you reach your goals.
Right. That's one thing that sorry, I'm trying to stop chewing my food. That's one thing that we teach in PR
Mm-hmm.
to our clients. It's like a lot of people, they move based on waves. And I mean
Mm-hmm.
like waves of excitement, waves of inspiration. They
Mm-hmm.
see something, it's like, oh, I want to make something just like that. I'm not saying that's bad, right? But when you are about to put something in place or when you're about to do something, you have to think, what outcome do I want? Like what goal am I attaching this to?
Mm-hmm.
Because like if we just out here moving, you ever hear people saying you busy but you ain't doing nothing? Like you don't
Yeah,
want to be
yeah,
busy and not doing nothing. Like you want to be
right.
busy and like making it somewhere.
Being
So like
productive,
being
being busy and
exactly,
productive and efficient is two different things. Hmm.
exactly. So like we have to connect everything that we do to a goal and like put a strategy behind it to get a certain outcome. So it's
Hmm.
not like you're, because if you continue doing stuff and you continue making yourself busy and you're not getting
Hmm.
desired outcomes, you will experience burnout every time.
Hmm.
And if not every time, like eventually. Like so that's my whole thing about being intentional. You gotta you don't want to be reactive. You want to take control of what you got going on. And that's so important.
Um, so the way I'm trying to see how I can word this in like the most simplest way. I feel that when you see, I have an intentional journal. I write everything down. So I also have intentional journals coming to rap. But so I write
Nice.
everything down. So I break it down in months. What is your intent for this month? Okay, so these are your intentions for this month. You need to make sure you have goals that lead up to that big intention, right? So a lot of us, we're like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, but we don't have no type of pathway to get to being this millionaire. Oh, I want to be this. Oh, I want to be that. But you aren't doing anything to lead you up to that. So you have to think of what is the overall look like. When I look at myself, what is the overall? Who am I? Who do I want to be overall, right? So my thing has always been, I don't care about the money. Later with the money. When I die, I want to be
Yeah.
able to say like Nancy left a legacy. Like Nancy touched people. That's my main goal, right? So, okay, what is it that I can do to have this outcome? I'm naturally a giving person. That's who I am naturally. I'm naturally a person that's always want to help. That's just who I am. So it's like, okay, how can I serve people? So back to rap. When I started rap, it was because I wanted to give women in shelters who didn't have access to be able to go get their hair done every 2 weeks or once a month, or hair products, the right hair products for our hair, the opportunity to be able to still be stylish without having a high cost. So that was the start of it, and that's how we did the Crown and Glory initiative, yada yada yada. But so that was a way for me to leave an impact on others' lives. Along with that, I also was doing workshops with them. So I was doing parenting workshops. I was doing resources workshops with them. So even though I was saying, oh, come get your hair wrapped, I had people who were doing nutrition classes, people who were doing hair care classes, skin classes. That was my way of leaving a mark. So when setting your intentions, you need to make sure, like, what is it that I want out of this?
Right.
Set your intention and align yourself with the different ways. And a lot of times, like, what you want to do or who you are, for me, is what comes naturally to you is your purpose. Right, so a lot of times it's already inside of you. You just haven't sat in silence enough to hear yourself and to hear God talk to you. So that's a lot of the problem, where, like you said, you're busy, that you can't understand what's going on around you.
Right. Because I will say I experienced burnout from that plenty of times. And then my thing is, like, a lot of us who have businesses, we don't want to be known just for like for me, I don't want to just be known just for the services I give. I want to know, I want to be known for, like, making a difference in people's lives, or like just in society in general. So like you said, you was holding like workshops and stuff with them. Like, those workshops wasn't just to like sell a few head wraps. It was to like really like change things, like, you know. So she didn't just, yeah, exactly. So like she didn't just throw those workshops out because she seen somebody else doing it and it looked fun. There was a reason behind it. It was all intentional. Wow. So we got some questions from Q&A. First one: how do you keep yourself motivated?
I don't know, because every other day I be giving up. Is my cousin on here? Are you calling my cousin right here? Like, girl, I'm about to quit. I'm gonna be regular. And she's like, you can't do that. But really something in, I don't know how I keep myself motivated. Like, it's just really something inside me. Like, every time I be like, man, I ain't going through this. Like, I see something that inspires me, I'm just like, I can't give up. Or I'll see somebody and they're like, oh, you're still doing this. I'm like, man, I can't stop. Like, so it's just like, you can't stop, because it's like you already put yourself out there. So once you get started, you got to keep going.
Right. I feel like, I don't know, I always had this feeling like motivation was a myth, because like a lot of people make it seem like they don't do things, and then you ask them why, and they say their reason is because they're not motivated. And it's like, we do a lot of things not being motivated. You know what I mean? Like, we like, I love what I do, but I be waking up some days like I want to stay in the bed. Like, I'm not motivated most days, to be honest with you. But it's just like, that's a myth. So like, don't let that be your driving factor.
I agree. People, like, you see all these people on Instagram pushing, it should drive. And it's just like, dude, like, I don't even know how to create content, and I'm a whole entrepreneur in a modern age. I don't have anything on my business pages. But it's just like, I'm not going to give up. The word of mouth goes a long ways, but it's just like, like you said, motivation is definitely a myth, and it's a way to make people feel like if they're not motivated or if they're not doing something, that they're a failure. No, you're not. It's normal to have these emotions of, am I doing the right thing? Should I give up? Is this going the right way? Anything like those are normal emotions. You're not going to be 100%. Oh, as soon as your feet touch the ground, you up and at them.
Right.
You're not. I quit my job every other day. I quit my businesses every other day. I'm not lying.
Can y'all please just follow her real quick, just for the realness? Like, please.
And that's the honest to God truth. And then I come back to, they're like, oh, I can do this and add that. And people who I talk to, like my cousin and my mom, are probably like, she's on my nerves.
Oh my gosh. But no, that's the thing though. Like, that's the thing. Like, it be the people that look at you and they like the closest people to you, they'll see like you give up and you struggle, whatever. But like your real audience and the people that are buying from you, like, they don't be seeing it. They just see when you succeed and when you do good.
Right.
Like, it really just be all in our own heads. Like, just keep going, yo. Don't matter what it look like. It don't matter.
Like, seriously. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak or the faint at heart. You got to have God on your side at all times, because you'll be like, wow, Lord, why did you pick me for this? Like, but you have to keep going. You really have to keep going.
Yeah, so we ain't gotta wait for motivation. Try to just do it without it, because motivation is a myth. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
y'all? Like, it is. When you got it, it's good. But when you
Yes.
don't, you still gotta keep
And
going.
that's okay. The hardest thing to do is to start. And I tell people that all the time. Like, the hardest thing to do is to
Mhm.
start. Literally, though, you can have all these notes, like I have books filled with notes and businesses, and I got hotels, bed and breakfasts, stuff that I thought up. But it's like, man, it's gonna take a lot of capital to start. But the
Yeah.
hardest thing to do is to start. But you just gotta pick one thing and just start. Just start.
Kanae said, Nancy, you a go-getter. You can't give up.
I cannot. I will not. Listen, who's saying can't stop, won't stop? Is that Chris and Lee?
Hey, can't stop, won't stop. Listen, I remember a long time
Can't.
ago, my sister used to write down the lyrics to that. Like, you remember when people used to listen to music and write down the lyrics and then pause it, and that was bad. That was bad. Okay, the next question is, what were your biggest hurdles? They getting deep into these.
The biggest hurdle is starting. I'm trying to tell y'all, because once God gives you the vision and you get up the courage to start, everything else will fall into place. I've started rec with $0. I had quit my job. 2 weeks later, I had a launch party.
Mm.
I'm not telling everybody to go do that, but what I'm saying is the hardest part, the biggest struggle is literally starting. Once you start, it's just like, okay, I gotta keep going. It's the start. It's the telling yourself that you are worthy of this. It's the convincing yourself. And a lot of times people be so busy convincing others, and they be wanting approval that they never start. So you just gotta like tell yourself like, okay, I'm starting this. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if it's a good idea, bad idea. I'm just going to start. And if you fail, you fail, but at least you know what not to do.
Right, right. Um, when you said that, it made me think about my biggest hurdles, and I never stop having hurdles. I know we all don't,
You don't. It's
but
always something.
I think the biggest hurdle is when, like, you know how they say leave home at the door. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
come to work and they say leave home at the door. Like, we gotta
Mm-hmm.
just have this facade. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everything's perfect. We all like chipper and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I always been like an advocate for not saying to leave home at the door, but to kind of handle home before you get to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my whole thing. Cause like I don't like when people try to fake a front. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have to do it. It is what it is. But for all the times that we can try to control that, like, just try to handle it. Like, that's where self-care come into play.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like boundaries come into play. Like, and my thing is like, make that stuff a priority and be proactive with those things. So it's not just like and that's my thing. I just don't like to be a reactive person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you gotta always react, you can drive yourself insane. So like, I think this is just really what I'm getting to. It's just like, be proactive with taking care of you, yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and just your mental health and your family, like the personal things. Take care of those things on the regular as best as you can. So you ain't gotta try to like fake the front, because it's hard, especially when you got a whole business to run. So you wear so many hats, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't keep faking the front every day. Like, it will eat you alive.
So, so for those of you who don't know, like I studied psychology first before I got into education and everything else. So in psychology, they have these things called everyday stressors, right? So we're never actually stress free. It's always something. Oh, I forgot to get gas, and you rushing to work to try to get gas, blah blah blah. Anything. Oh, the kids didn't get up on time. It's always a stressor. But I tell my staff this too. Before you walk into the door for work, you need to come to peace with yourself and whatever's going on at home, and just say, all right, I'm going to go have a good day, because that happened this morning, that happened last night, but I have to have a good day because um, I have to be productive in my work day. Or call the hell out. Don't go. Cause I just don't understand. Like, for real.
That's a
Like, if
whole
you're going
nother
to
conversation, for real.
crappy attitude throughout the day, just don't even show up.
No, seriously.
And I'm just being honest. Like, take your self care data and like, listen. This happened last night. This happened this morning. I just can't come in today. I understand, because I do that all the
I feel like you dropped the mic with that one. I don't even know what to say.
time.
Cause that's real. That's really real. Like,
Yeah.
I get that we gotta make our money, but if you gotta take a day to just get your mind together, do what you
Because your
gotta do.
energy like transfers. So now like, you come in with your bad energy, and all it takes is somebody who wasn't already on the verge of having a good day. Now they got a
Yeah.
bad energy, and then it was just all throughout the job. Like, just stay home. I'll send you
Right.
home real quick. You're not having a good day? Okay, you can clock out. Like, I will send you
Uh-huh.
home real quick.
All right, next question is how do you expel the need for validation? I really like this one. So I'm so excited to hear what you got to say about this one. I love this one.
This one is so because all like
Mm.
in your life, just growing up, like you seek validation from your parents, from your peers, from your teachers. That's just what we were basically trained to do. Like, I want to hear my parents say good job, or for me to get A's in
I
school,
know I
and yada
did.
yada yada.
Hmm.
So it's just like um it's really hard. It's really coming to peace with who you are. Like, honestly, once you come to peace with who you are, and there are no limits on our abilities, but you have to accept your now in your past in order to exceed in your future. So if how can I word this?
Take your
If
time
you
with this one. It's okay.
Yeah, if you are struggling with validation, 9 times out of 10, that's an internal struggle from something that may have happened in your childhood. So now you need to go back to the root of the problem. Why is it that
Hmm.
I need somebody to give me a pat on the back? Why is it that I need a good job? Or why is it that I need to feel accepted? That's something that happened from childhood. Could have happened in your teenagers. Could have happened in your adult years. Boyfriend cheating on you, however it may be. So you have to honestly do a lot of self-reflection with yourself and come to the point and say, hey, I like me. But
Yeah.
just because you say I like me doesn't mean that you can't change or you can't evolve. It's basically saying I like me, I like where I'm going, and I'm coming to peace with the past because that's something that I can't change. And just moving on and just saying, like, I'm going to do this regardless. This is what I'm going to do regardless.
Hmm.
And it is a struggle. It's not. It's like an ever going thing. Like, as confident that I may seem or have always seemed, I've always struggled with. Not going to say. Um, I guess you could say self esteem. I'm the
Hmm.
youngest. So now it's like, I gotta be greater than them because they done already did everything. So now how can I excel? How can I pass them? Like, that's
Yeah,
just
you be wanting to stand out.
right. You want to stand out because you're the youngest, right? So it's just like that's just how I've been. Like, okay, I gotta be better, I gotta be greater than them. But then I got to a point where I was just like, can I curse on here?
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
got like honestly, you gotta say fuck that shit. Because you're gonna kill yourself. You're gonna kill yourself trying to outdo
Hmm.
the next person. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
always gonna be somebody better. It's always gonna be somebody not as good as you. So you just honestly just have to be like, man, fuck that. I'm doing me.
Yeah.
And whoever don't like it, I mean, it is what it is. And everybody's gonna have a bad phase in their life. Everybody's gonna have an okay phase in their life, and everybody's gonna have a time in their life where they're on top of the world. But like I always say, like I always win, even when I'm losing, I'm winning because
Hmm.
even when you're losing, these lessons are teaching you things. Even when you're
Hmm.
winning, you're being taught something. So even when I'm losing, I'm winning. That's just the attitude that I keep. I could be dead broke, child. I'm winning. Can't nobody tell me
For
otherwise because I'm
real.
winning.
But like it's important it's important to teach kids this at a young age, like about the validation thing. Like it's a big
Mhm.
word. I'm sure they probably can't pronounce it when they should be
Mhm.
learning it. But it's just like to teach them young. And the crazy thing is like I didn't think about it, but I remember so I went to Philly public schools, but my little brother went to like schools out in the suburbs. They did things a lot different than we
Mhm.
did.
Mhm.
And he graduated from sixth grade from middle school and went to I forget what it was like, but he did some type of graduation or move up procedure.
Mhm.
And they had a portion of the ceremony. It was called something fellowship. I can't remember the actual name, but the point of it was completely silent, and
Mhm.
each not each child, but like if you wanted to, it wasn't like there was no system put to it. There was no like assigned like numbers to anything. It was you get
Mhm.
up and you say something kind about somebody else or about the overall ceremony, and then you sit down.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the whole idea behind it was that after each person spoke, nobody was
Mhm.
supposed to clap, comment, say nothing. But
Mhm.
it basically taught them to like have a voice, like use initiative. Like nobody told them
Mhm.
like, okay, your turn to stand up or you should say
Mhm.
this. Like, and then the fact that nobody was supposed to clap afterwards or comment afterwards, it's like they're not expecting to hear nothing back. Like they're
Mhm.
doing it for their own will. And
Mhm.
that whole thing, like with them doing that and making that a practice, I was like, wow, like they're instilling this in them at, I don't know how old he was, maybe like 10, 9, 10.
Mhm.
And it took me years, like, into adulthood to finally get that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even gonna lie. Like, I would do something and be like, oh snap, why nobody cared about this? I
Mm-hmm.
thought this was great. And it
Mm-hmm.
didn't tear me apart, but like, I mean, some days some things did tear me apart, seriously. But it's like, if I would have really like understood that validation was a thing, like at that
Mm-hmm.
young age, I feel like I'd be so different by now.
Mm-hmm.
So different. And that's I feel like that's just with everybody. But I think that's something that, like, whenever I do have kids and stuff like that, I'm definitely going to teach that to my kids. You don't have to have nobody tell you good job. For what?
Um, that happens in school, like even because I work in child care, so early childhood education, right? So they teach us in our formal training to not tell a child good job,
Really?
and they tell you to not say good job. And at first I was like, what kind of mess is this, right? But as I like paid attention to it, I'm like, I actually did like a whole observation on this and a study on this where I took the toddlers and I noticed that every time I told the toddler a good job, yeah, they wanted to do it again, right? But then every time I didn't tell them good job, then they're sad.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they lost the confidence to repeat that action because I didn't say good job. So that's what happens in our life because kids are nothing but us. Um, so telling them good job, it made them think like, okay, I don't need validation. It helps them with that because it's like, okay, I don't need her to tell me good job. I know I did a good job. Like this is like how she did on the board. This is like what it's supposed to look like, and that's that. But if you keep telling a child good job, especially for things they're supposed to do, like clean up after themselves or whatever, if you start telling them good job every time, they're only going to do it for the accolade.
Yeah.
So then you have narcissists running around because they're doing it for an accolade, and they eventually grow into humans. Like I mean, not humans;
Yeah.
they're already humans, but they
Adults. But yeah.
eventually grow into adults who have to enter into society who does not know how to do anything without getting a pat on their back. Yes, a pat on your back should be good. Like should like you should feel good about some things that you do at some point in life, but not for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because the
Right.
good job comes from within.
Right. Right. And I think that's the point. Like, I'm not saying don't ever tell a child or don't ever tell somebody good job when they deserve it, but it's like, just for them to understand that that good job comes from within is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Like
only need it from everybody else. It's not required from everybody else.
like for my child, I'm pretty tough. But that's just because I'm very like strong and he's very strong. So we be butting heads and he's only 7, so but like he struggles with reading, right? So because he struggles with reading, I do have to cheer him on more because that's something that he's struggling at, and he does need he that's my way of building his confidence. So he does need to hear it. But in math, I just be like, okay, oh look, I got this right. Okay, keep going. But he
Yeah.
already knows, okay, I got this right. He knows that's his strong suit. So he's like, okay, whatever. I got it right. I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep going. But with reading, I had to be like, good job, you read that all by yourself, and or you sounded that out, or you use your files, or use your context clues. I have to just point certain things out because he's already struggling with it. So it's just like you said, like I feel like if it's things that you're struggling with, yeah, you may have to tell you like, girl, you did a good job because it's
And my
something that
thing
was
is
hard.
this, and I want to distinguish something real quick. So like, it's one. All right. So in my industry, like, we have to put things out and see how people react to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
To see if
Mm-hmm.
like the audience is taken to something well. That's different than like saying, for example, I'm gonna use rap. Same thing, like, for if like you're saying I have this idea, I want to build a business around this, I want to like push head reps. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, if people don't like your idea and like your genuine feelings, that's on them. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
mean when we say validation and stuff that is close to your heart. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need nobody to be on board with you with that. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to figure out, if you're trying to like gain a certain audience and you want to see what takes to them, like what they take well and like what doesn't work, that's different. But that's, at the same time, that's not validation. But that's the thing that people, I think, sometimes confuse. They confused it too. But I just wanted to say that. So
Some
yeah,
people
whatever
are
it
like,
is y'all want to build a business about or an idea around, stick with your idea. Y'all need nobody to be on y'all train with y'all.
yeah, because things happen in waves, and what social media shows us is that if it's not a trend at that time, you may not be as popular, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get customers.
Mm-mm.
Right? Everybody doesn't blow up overnight.
Mm-mm.
So you just got to wait your turn, but you got to be consistent while waiting your turn. You can't keep dropping the ball in between because people who you think aren't watching, or the ones who are watching, they're watching it like, oh, every time um we're not liking it, they like fall off or whatever, like stuff like that.
Right.
So you should definitely stay consistent in whatever it is that you're trying to do, because when it is your term, you don't want to have to get ready. You want to already be ready.
Exactly. Please stay consistent, y'all, because that's one thing that like that I realized for myself. Like, for example, you go to people's pages and you see like they got a website link and you click that link and it don't lead to nothing, or say under construction or something like that. It's like, y'all keep things like that unfinished or broken links or not done just because you think nobody's looking for y'all or nobody's on your page or nobody's going to notice. People notice. The people that you don't even know be on your pages or on your pages, maybe even every day. Like, I've gotten so many different things, like on days that I thought, dang, ain't nobody checking for me. Like, people asking for services, all types of stuff. You never know. People are always clicking around all day long. So stay consistent. It's always somebody watching, even when you don't think it's somebody watching. All right, let me get to the next question. We stayed on that one for a minute. Validation is something. All right. This is a long question. I try to invest in myself, but I feel like my plans or goals are too expensive no matter how I set them. How do you work through this? So this is like the struggles of investing in yourself.
I feel like there's, when it comes to investing in yourself, I bet it all on me. I bet it all on myself. I understand that not everyone is in that predicament, but it doesn't always have to be money. It could be time. It can be researching. So you may not have the money at the time to invest in yourself, but you do have the time to do your research and figure out, is there a cheaper way, or what can I do first, or how can I lead up to this, or what can I do first to help me get to this goal. So investing in yourself isn't always money, and there's no goal or dream too big that you can't invest in yourself. I tell people all the time, bet it all on yourself, because you're not going to let yourself lose.
Yeah. And that's a huge part. Like, investments are not just money. That's the first thing we think about when we hear like, oh, we gotta invest in ourselves. And time is so much more than money. So much more. And we all have that to give. If y'all listen to this live, y'all got time to give. I appreciate y'all spending your time with us. I will say that. Because no, time is something serious. And I don't like when people take it for granted. Even ourselves. I take my own time for granted too sometimes. I forget about how important it is. We ain't got an unlimited amount of time.
Can you repeat that question? I want to make sure I didn't miss any points in the question.
Oh, yeah. I try to invest in myself, but I feel like my plans or goals are too expensive no matter how I set them. How do you work through this?
Do you know who sent this question?
This was somebody that I don't know personally.
You got the Instagram?
I do. I gotta go out of here to get it, though.
Yeah. When we get off, can you just tell them to send me a message? Because it's really not the money. And that's what people got to understand. It's really not the money. And sometimes we just budget.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go without, right? If it's something that you can go without to invest in yourself, go ahead.
And I will say, like you said, budget, especially when it comes to finances, it's always something that we feel like we can't do. But it's always something else that we can give up and replace it, even if it's just temporary. Like, it don't gotta be like, oh, I gotta live without Netflix forever. Like, but for the next 5 months, maybe you do need to live without it, since the price is going up, number one, and number two, because maybe you just got something you need to reach before the end of the year. Like,
it's like prime example. So I was going in for this photography studio, right? So I still work, right? So I haven't really actively been doing rap for a minute. Speak about inconsistency, but it's because I've been like revamping and like getting everything in order, right? But I already have a studio for rap. So I'm like, the studio not big enough for a photography studio, so I can't even convert it. So I took a giant leap of faith. I've been with prior to getting it this year, I had already looked at it last year. The same spot I had now. I already looked at it last year. I already knew numbers, already did the figure. So I said, okay, I can do this. Things just be a little tight. But once things start going, it's not going to be tight, because the projections, what I projected for it to make, I'll be okay. It'll pay for itself. Triple that, hopefully, God willing. But now I'm currently in a situation where I have 2 studios where I'm paying rent on both of them right now, because I was like, all right, I'm just go ahead and break my lease on the rap studio, right? So that was a big investment and a big decision to say, okay, I want to go without X, Y, and Z. I like the shop. I haven't been to the mall in a long time, and I feel some type of way about that. But at the end of the day, I had to sacrifice something to get to the next level because this is something that I want. As a creative, I feel like I have to create, and I love setting up sets and productions for photo shoots, and I love to be able to provide that for others because not everyone. I see so many photo shoots. I'm just like, nobody told them that those colors don't go, or it's just like little things like that or the quality of the photos is horrible. But so I'm like, I want to create a space where small business owners or business owners who don't have a lot of money can go get quality for their business because this is what sells it. Like, yeah, your product may be bomb, but your photos is what like sell it, especially in this day and age. So because I decided to do that, I had to invest in myself. So everything I brought for the studio came out of my pocket. Putting the down payment for the studio came out of my personal pocket. So it was just like, yeah, I could have waited and like got capital and stuff like that. But I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do now. So that was a huge investment and a lot of sacrifice. My cousin is on here. That's my witness. I told her, child, I'm so dope, broke.
Where is your cousin?
But
Can cousin comment? I want to say hi to cousin because you talked about her a couple times.
so broke, but it's okay because it's going to pay off in the long run. So I always tell people this: you may have to go without for now, but just imagine in the future you won't be able to make up for all of that. You want double, triple, and quadruple that. So just go without for now.
So what I'm hearing, let me recap. What I'm hearing you say is basically you're not going to have as big of an issue of investing in yourself, whether it's finance, time, whatever, if you really have a great idea of what you project to make. Like, oh, there go cousin. Hey, cousin. Of what you're projecting to make and like what your actual goal is. Like, if you feel like your investment is too big or too much of a risk to take, that means you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what are you trying to get to.
And I also feel like, see, a lot of people take business courses. I took a couple business courses, but that was like just for like general education. I don't take business courses because I feel like sometimes when you look at numbers, it can deter you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not telling nobody else not to do it. I'm not saying don't be smart about your finances because I'm in a position where I can't be like, all right, I'm a not go without this and do this or whatever. But sometimes I feel like when you look at numbers, it deters you. And I feel like sometimes you miss out on your blessing and your purpose because you're so busy focused on numbers.
Mm-hmm.
When numbers change,
you
see that every day.
True.
Numbers change. So it's like, if this, and this is what my family instilled in me for a long time, if your heart is in it, everything else will follow.
Mm-hmm.
So the money is going to come. Like, look at a lot of artists, like they struggle before they make it big.
Definitely do.
Not everybody is fortunate enough to be like, oh, I'm just going to start this business. I have all the capital, I have the resources. That's some people don't live in that. Some people don't have that. But in the end, you got to invest in yourself. You have to get started, and sometimes you have to get started to make people even notice you. So it's like an investor is not going to bet on you if you're not betting on yourself.
So invest in your passion. Don't forget
like
your
you
passion.
Want me, right? Like you want me to put money to something that you haven't even put money into. Because at the end of the day, if you're not putting money to it, what that says to an investor is you don't even believe in you.
Yeah. So that's all the questions I had, but I do have 2 more questions that just popped up on here. Mm-hmm. How do I use this? Oh, yay, it popped up. Okay. How do you push through fear? I know that's supposed to say push, I feel like. Did you experience fear?
Of course. Until I realized that fear and change don't live in the same house. So if you want change and you want to win, you got to drop the fear. I just was talking to somebody the other day. It's so funny because we was talking about us going on vacation. And she's like, I can't go on vacation because my test is right around the corner. And I'm just nervous. I'm just anxious. I was like, girl, that's a sin. But like, I know people are probably like, but she has a test. But it's like, that was just a light joke about it. But like, you can't be scared. You can't be scared. It's natural to have that fear, but you got to be able to shake it off and move forward anyway. You just got to be able to move forward. Once you realize like you can't do things scared, even when you like take swimming for instance. If you get in a pool and you're scared, you're going to sink. You're not going to be able to float because your body isn't relaxed enough to float and to swim. So if you go into something very like scared to the point where you can't even push past it, you're gonna drown. So you just got to get in your head like I need to swim.
Yeah.
And the only way for me to swim is to let this fear go, because fear destroys all hope. Fear destroys hope. And once you have your hope shattered, that also takes on messes with your mental and your body and your physical. So you're like scared. You're always gonna be tense all the time. Like, and who wants to be like that all the time? Who wants to? It just takes on a whole nother life of its own. So you just have to be able to push past your fear and keep going.
Yeah.
Like, you may start out scared, but you got to keep going.
And I think some things that may feel like fear may not necessarily be fear either.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us are doing a lot of things for the first time. It could be a lot of different things. Like sometimes it could just be is this the right word? Unpreparedness.
Mm-hmm.
But like it could be a lot of different things. But you just have to figure out like the source of it, where it's coming from, and like what really it is, what it really is.
Yeah, you do. You have to figure out the source. Is it, are you really scared, or are others around you scared? Because sometimes that's what it is too. Like, you may have people who are scared for you because they've never done anything before. They never stepped out on faith. But that's what starting anything in life is, basically stepping out on faith. They're
And that's
nervous, they're
contagious.
scared. Yeah, and now it's rubbed off on you. Now you second guessing yourself. You doing it like, come on, like, you gotta stop talking to those type of people. You gotta keep pushing.
Yeah. And I have another, this is our last question. How do you bounce back from disappointment or something that did not work out?
um, how do I bounce back?
Hmm.
Because I feel like I'm always disappointed. I feel like I'm always disappointed. Like, even like just in like regular like life. Like, I'm like always, like, I was looking at a pair of shoes, right? Online it was like all that in a bag of chips. But when I seen them in person, I was like, oh my God, I was so disappointed. But I was like, okay, let me find another shoe. And I just went on to another shoe. So like, everything in life isn't that simple, but you just have to either you're gonna make that work, or you're just gonna say, okay, let me find something else. Like, you got to be able to not be so attached to certain things. I think that's where disappointment comes in a lot, is because we attach ourselves to things. So like, you got to get to the point where like, this job can go, this car can go, these clothes can go, but as long as I have me and I have my peace, I'm okay. And a lot of disappointment in people or in things will fade away once you stop attaching yourself to stuff. You got to be able to let it
What?
go, because
I'm ready to fall
everything.
out. I'm ready to fall out. Detachment. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all heard that. I gotta. All right. So I'm gonna post some of these clips because I think a lot of people need to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
That does help you push through a lot of disappointment, detaching yourself from it, and realizing like there's more out here. There's more you got to
Mm-hmm.
do. You got to move on.
Yeah, it's something that can be better. Yeah.
So, all right. So, um, do you have anything coming up? Anything that we should know about? Events, new products?
I do have a new candle. It's an attention candle, and I have an attention planner. So like I said, I'm revamping Rap, where it's going to be luxury, lifestyle, and culture. The new line is going to be called Ashe Array, which means it will be. So basically, whatever you set out, that's what's going to happen. Um, like I said, I have the photography studio. I'm working on getting all the sets together now. And hopefully by March or mid March, I could probably do like a little grand opening. I'm not sure. I got to check the numbers on that. See if I can
Well,
afford a
yes.
grand
Please,
opening.
please, please let me know so I can let everybody else know. Um, so yeah, that's awesome. So make sure y'all follow her at Nancy NANCY_live LIVE, because all of her Instagrams are there. They're all in her bio, and everything you need to know about her is right there. So, but the one of the main reasons why we started Mukbang Meeting was because I know so many awesome people, you included, and it's just the fact of like I feel like there's always somewhere for people to connect. And I don't know. I'm only one person, so I can't link everybody, but just putting it out there will kind of like open more doors for everybody else. And just to understand that we all are as strong as the people around us. So, with that being said, do you have any type of job openings or collab opportunities, or just anything that you think that maybe somebody out there might be able to help you with, or something that you can help somebody else with if you're offering anything or anything?
Um, if you are an educator, I'm about to plug my job too. If you are an educator or you have a degree in childcare or a CEA, I'm currently hiring for an infantile teacher right now. And in September, I'll be hiring for a bunch of preschool teachers because we're expanding. Now, as far as the business side, if you are a person who is struggling, please reach out to me so we can link up and I can try to push you forward. A lot of times, sometimes uh, we get deterred because we can't see it, right? And sometimes we need things tangible for us to be like, okay, I can see it. Like I know for me, it was my logo. So I try to help new business owners like try to get a logo made just so they can see it visualized, just so they can try to move forward. So if you need help, just reach out to me. Need any resources, reach out to me. As far as needing any help, um, if you are a photographer, reach out to me because I'm going to be starting something for the photographers for the photography studio. I haven't put it all together for the photographers yet, but I am looking for photographers.
Do you have your location public yet, or is that not yet?
It is public. You have to follow Choice Studios underscore, or is it dot? I don't remember. Dot design. And I have so many pages, and you'll be able to see it. So it's at 2127 Gillingham Street. That's the legal address, but it's on the side of Worth Street. So the 4564 Worth Street. So that's
What
the
area is
location is
that?
there. It's Frankfurt. So what they
Okay,
did was they
okay.
took an old warehouse and they made a new warehouse and they revamped it and then was creative spaces. So
Got
yeah,
you. That's
if you are,
amazing. Congratulations on all of
thank
that.
you, thank you.
Listen, especially if y'all in Frankfurt, y'all need to make sure y'all make it to Troy Studios at some point.
Yeah, yeah, because it's gonna be dope.
It is.
It's gonna
It
be dope.
already is. It already is. All right, well, Nancy, I will talk to you later. Thank y'all. Thank everybody who came on here. We really enjoyed y'all. Thank y'all for leaving questions and like if you I hope you seen all the comments in here. They've been talking life over the both of us. Like I love it.
Thank
Thank
you.
all of y'all. Everybody that went to our high school. Look at this. This is crazy. My new followers, yes. Okay, thank y'all so much. I gotta make sure, yeah. Y'all show so much love. So thank y'all so much. But
Thank you for
Nancy, I'll
having
talk to
me,
you
MA.
later. And if anybody, you're welcome. If anybody has anything that can like add to the stuff that Nancy was just talking about, please hit her up in her DMs. Please, please, please don't be scared to. She is such a nice person. She will
Yeah.
like talk life over you, help you. If she don't know, she'll find somebody else that can.
Mm-hmm.
Really just connect with her. Please. Please do. But all right, y'all, and I'll see y'all at the next one. Thank you, Nancy.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
All right, you too.